Welcome back for another Sins of a Solar Empire 2 video. This time we are going to actually look at the dev mode setup in game. I had a question on the last video about how to use the develop exe settings, so I thought I would do that first. So first off, the way you have to access it is the same way that you load your game, whether you use Steam or whether you use, I think the other option is Epic. You open the game up, it brings up your launcher, and then you click this little tiny arrow off to the right side, and then click on the use dev.exe. If it's active, it'll have this check mark on it. If it is not active, it will not have the check mark, and that's as simple as it is. Once it's got the check mark going, hit play, and you get into the game. So this game, I'm going to pause it just so we can do stuff easier. So we're going to talk about two menus first. First one, I believe, is in key bindings. Go to debug. So you have two different things that we're going to talk about. One is the open inspect settings window. The other is the debug input scope. I'm going to start with the inspect settings window because I think that this one's active even when you're not in the dev exe setting. And as far as I can understand it, the way that this works is there's nothing in this that would give you an unfair advantage. Everything that's in here is beam effects or camera angles or settings on your ship. Like, I have this active currently. I could turn this off, or I could leave this on if I was playing a normal game, or turn it off if I was playing a normal game. It would not give me an unfair advantage over any player. So everything in this settings menu, oops, zoomed in too far. Everything in this settings menu is stuff that allows you to either see things or just give you some visual aids or changes your camera mode. But it does not, in my opinion, give you any unfair advantage. Now, that isn't to say that there isn't something in here, like maybe there's a color setting that is better to see on black. Maybe there's a color setting that allows you to see culture leans better or culture leans thicker. Actually, I want to check that one out. Phase. Client debug, all faintly invisible, false. I'm going to check that out and see what that does. Do true. Client debug, render phase lanes marked for delete, false. Always render phase lanes true. Phase lane unit groups. Anyway, so this is the settings menu. Now, I do use this one for my videos specifically because I pull up the weapon arcs and I pull up the weapon names when I'm doing it, but that's the only setting I ever turn on. Otherwise, to do a quick reset, you literally just click this button here, reset, it goes back to default settings. And as you can see, I no longer have those settings active on my ship here. The other option, which is only available if you're in the dev exe, is the debug menu. So that menu is opened up. I'll show you that one again. It's in the debug input scope. Now I have that set up as Control-Shift-D. You can change it to whatever setting I think you want. But what it does is it'll open up the debug menu. Some of these items here, actually I'm pretty sure most of these items here, this is the debug menu, is all of these choices here. This entire list. And I'll go and show you that here. So I hit debug menu, and then to open up the actual menu, make sure it's here, is opened command palette. So I have debug mode active. I believe that this is 13.56 seconds, so this is in hundredths of seconds, this is in seconds, and it'll keep going as we go. I hit F1, it brings up that exact same menu that you just saw there with all of these same settings here, and I think just about everything that's in the key bindings menu. So in here, in my other videos, the ones that I used are ignore research tiers, I also use give assets or give exotics, but there's also a toggle where you can turn those off. You can start NPC auctions, and then the other one is open the spawn unit window. So that was my hotkey Z, so I'm going to press it. What this gives you here is the ability to select any unit in the game and drop it into the game. Up at the top, you can select what faction gets to get this unit. So in my case, this would be my name. This is an NPC player orange. I believe that's a Visari. This is an NPC red. This looks to be either a tech. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a tech. Blue would be a advent. And then any number. So 0 is always going to be one of the players, and it goes 0 to 9. 10 through however many minor factions are on the map are always listed from 10 to 14, 15, or 16, I think. And then so you can spawn in any unit that your heart desires. You do have to know what the programmer game tag has been assigned to. So for example, if you can go into the search bar here and you can type in Advent, and anything with an Advent title in it will be included here. If you don't know what you're looking for, maybe you want just battleships, you type in battle. You can grab an Advent battleship, which would be the Radiance. You could grab the Coal, or you could grab a Visari. Now, if you drop it in as any one of these units, so let's say this is me, and as you can clearly see, I'm a Visari player on screen. I can still make myself get an Advent battleship at any time I want. I can give myself a tech battleship anytime I want. You can close this menu, select them while still in debug, and delete them. So you have lots and lots of options. But what you would notice is if I had any of my research done, this unit only gets the researches that I have applied to my own ships. So I could give, actually I'm going to turn debug off just because it screws up with the research trees. I'll show you real quick what that does. So if debug's on, if you go into the research trees, it's a less condensed version of the tree. There's a whole bunch of space underneath it. And if you click it, it does some weird language, and it kind of gives you spots all over the screen. I don't like to use it that way because it just doesn't work with my brain. So I turn off debug when I go into these menus. But I can get all of these same technologies, and it applies to whatever I've built. That said, the weapons do not have a good correlation. So I cannot research heavy beams or heavy plasmas, medium plasmas, or light lasers anywhere in this warfare tree. So I can't upgrade any of the damage, but I could give it all the shield bursts, I could give it all the hull regens, I could give it the armors, I can give it everything that's here defensively. As you can see, I'm hitting that Z key and it's not bringing me up anything. So I have to go back into debug, hit my Z key, and then this is where you can get units. So when I was doing one of my last videos, I would create a completely unbuffed, no research done unit on myself. I would create a second faction that I knew was also a Visari and spawn them, and I would research all of well, I can't even research it right now, so then I could research it. Once you have the debug menu open, again, here's your list. The ones that I use to make my videos is to, let me find it. I use Instant Build because that will purchase any ship items, any researches, any buildings that you are looking to build other than using just that Z menu. This Instant Build lets you do everything quickly. You do have to toggle instant research on because that'll give you instant research. You can turn off whether or not they receive or do damage. You can have it kill units, toggle units be killed, use restore shields, all of this stuff here. Toggle instant ability cooldown. This one I used in the Cordal video, where I wanted Power Surge to be active anytime I wanted it to. But with this active, you are still actually gated, I'm going to escape, by your resource production and by your exotics. So one of the things that you actually have to turn on is you have to turn on infinite assets and infinite exotics. I also turn on infinite research points. I also do ignore research prerequisites sometimes. I will say that getting set up for a video, if you toggle research prerequisites off, you have to do one at a time, and or you can go backwards. You select one here, you select here, select this one, select this one. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Need that to turn off. There we go. Or if you leave on the prerequisite one, let's say you clicked the wave charge or the pulse one, it would auto upgrade all the way across. Same thing with like the hull one. If you click the have to follow the research order, if I click this one, otherwise it would normally take these two, or I can skip over it. So there's lots of different options there. Let's see what else. You can do infinite research, influence, unity, mana. Let's see, resonance is on there. Nope. I don't think resonance points is in there, so maybe they have it coded as mana. I've never tried it. But this is how you can add or test anything that you want. And then to switch factions. So as I showed here, what I can do is I can place my ships here, go to another faction, drop their own coal over here. Still staying in the debug menu, I hit the Y key and you can cycle across the active players. If I cycle to a faction that I don't have vision on, I lose vision of where it is. And so in theory, you could simultaneously play a whole bunch of factions against yourself. You can also be the minor factions as well. You can, in this case, I believe I'm the Aluxians. Apparently the Aluxians have vision over the entire map. I am in a multiplayer 5v5 or 5v free-for-all. So as you can see here, I think you can see just about every player. And then there's a null where you can see everything, kind of like a video if you're casting a game, kind of removes fog for you. And then you go back to your own person, and then you have this space here. So that is how I set up for all the videos, is just the ones I want to turn on. If you want to test units, you can damage the units yourself with Control-D. You can kill units with the delete key. Toggle unit AI. I think you can essentially turn off whether the CPU or the AI will actually make that unit function. I've not tested that one. And then the other thing I wanted to add. So in the debug menu, let's say you wanted to toggle infinite exotics. You click it, it comes down here and hits the word true. I'm going to cycle to the next faction with my Y key, and you'll notice that infinite exotics is turned off. So you will have to go in to each faction that you want to have a various setting and apply it to them. So for my videos, like I said, if I always create it with one unit with 0 buffs. As you can see here, it's shield points, armor points, hull points, antimatter. Everything is exactly as it is when it warps into the system for the very first time. What I would typically do is go to the second faction, which I believe I currently am because I'm currently orange. and then you go into the menu and toggle infinite research points, which now you have infinite research points. You can do assets, exotics. You also have to do research. Ignore research tiers. Infinite exotics. And so once you have those active, hit the Control-Shift-D key to get out of the debug menu. And I'm in orange, which means it's also a Vasari. I dropped a coal in here, but you can come in here and you can instantly, I didn't do instant, the debug menu, instant, toggle instant research. So now it's on. Come in here. Nope, we don't want that there. Turn off debug again. And then you can instantly do everything here. As you can see, it quickly cycles through everything and anything all the way through. It's not costing me exotics. It's not costing me any resources. That's staying exactly the same. And then you have everything you need to do a video. The other things you can do, oh good, they're fighting. The other things you can do, does this have this active? It does. So as you can see here, this coal currently has shield regen active. It got all of the hull buffs that I just received. It got all of the shield buffs that I just purchased. So everything is active on this ship. One thing that you do not get the ability to do, and I'm going to open debug, open up the ship, and open up the capital carrier cruiser, carrier capital ship. So I want the trader capital ship. I'm in orange. I know it's a Vasari. I can drop a Silva here. One thing you're going to see with Silvas, you're going to go in here, they are going to have Vasari units. So that makes it a little difficult sometimes if you want to test fighters and bombers if you're not already in the right faction, is that the fighters and bombers stay with whatever faction it is that you spawned as. So if I do that, we already know they're Vasari, then they send out heavy fighters out of a Silva, which is quite interesting. So that's kind of the fun stuff that you can do with the debug menu. I've run a whole bunch of tests in it myself. I think I've done it in other videos. Like, you run 50 Tempests just to see what 50 Tempests will do against like 200 Defensors and see if the Defensors can win or not. So little things here and there to make things more interesting to learn, teaches you what is and is not good, and then you just gives you the ability to learn and see more stuff. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was clear, everything that you can do with the system. I think it's a good thing to have. It gives you the ability to, like I said, it gives you the ability to test whatever you want, act like a developer, and run some simulations of your own. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but that's the fun part of playing games. So hope you've learned some fun stuff, and hopefully you can use it yourself to learn whatever it is you want to learn as well. Thanks.